Welcome, Mr. Ambassador,
Thank you.
to our world. Another installment in this very exciting project that we're doing together at the Asan Institute with the Educational Broadcasting System. Thank you very much for agreeing to do this and to introduce your country to the Korean audience. Costa Rica, as far as Koreans are concerned, is a very happy country. We're very envious. You have a wonderful football team that did great at the World Cup, performed greatly, and just beat us a few days ago in Korea. You have one of the most famous coffees in the world that Koreans love to drink and figure very prominently because Koreans have become such connoisseurs of coffee, and everybody now knows about Costa Rican coffee. And also, last but not least, Costa Rica is always ranked as one of the happiest countries in the world whenever they do this global happiness index. Your countrymen always say that you're the happiest in the world. So it's something that we're all very envious of, and very much look forward to hearing about your introduction of your very happy country. So welcome, and thank you again for doing this.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Noche de luna llena nos invita a pasear, con ella y mi morena vamos a contemplar las calles de Santiago y las 7 cabritas. El brillo en las estrellas nos hacen recordar. Si alguno te pregunta quién fue el que te cantó en estas serenatas, no digas que fui yo. Arriba del trapiche te dejo 4 letras que dicen hasta luego, otras dicen adiós. Y la que no llore porque es muy bruta, carajo, dijo Emel Velázquez.
Hello, you all. Thank you so much for your presence here and for your kind and patient attention. I want to once again express my most sincere thanks to Asan Institute and EBS for giving me the unique, excellent opportunity to talk about my country to distinguished Korean people. And I'll begin by saying that bienvenidos a Costa Rica. Welcome to Costa Rica. And pura vida, that phrase, pura vida, is like a brand for Costa Ricans. We always say pura vida, and abroad, many people who know Costa Rica, they know what pura vida means. Pura vida translates into English as pure life, but more than a phrase, it is an attitude, a positive attitude of Costa Ricans toward life. When you ask them, how are you? And they say, pura vida, they're saying, great. When we meet somebody and say, pura vida, we are saying, good to meet you. So pura vida is a positive attitude in front of life. So, bienvenidos a Costa Rica, pura vida. And thank you again for giving us the opportunity to introduce our country to Koreans. And now that we had a chance to briefly introduce Costa Rica, I want to tell you about Costa Rica's place in the world, its location in the world. It's in the American continent, in the heart of it, we say, in the middle. And I want to say that geographically, the American continent is divided in 3 main sections: North America, Central America, and South America. Latin America is something else. That's more than geography. It's ethnicity, it's history, it's common language with some exceptions. But Latin America goes from Mexico down to Argentina and includes the Caribbean, where there are several countries, only 3 of them Spanish-speaking. That's Cuba, Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico. I wanted to say that Latin America is divided geographically. In Mexico is part of North America, and then Central America, which includes 7 countries, and South America, which begins in Colombia and goes all the way down to Argentina and Chile. Central America is, as I said before, 7 countries. Historically, originally it was 5 countries, but later on, Panama, in the early 1900s, I think it was 1903, and Belize, which was a British protectorate and is right next to Guatemala, was established as an independent country maybe 30 years ago. So now Central America is 7 countries instead of the 5 original ones. And something else is that we have in Central America with what we call the Central American Integration System, which also includes the Dominican Republic out there on the Caribbean, and of which Korea, by the way, is an observer, is a member as an observer, not a full member, but an observer member in SICA. SICA, we call it in Spanish, Sistema de Integración Centroamericana, Central American Integration System, which gets all these 7 countries to 8 countries with the Dominican Republic, gets them together so that they can jointly make efforts toward progress and development. So that's where Costa Rica is located, in the middle of America. Now, I'm going to say a little bit more about the country itself. The country on its eastern coast has the Caribbean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean, of course, and on its western coast, the Pacific Ocean, which one can say separates us from Korea or joins us together with Korea, because the trade between the Americas and Asia, and specifically Korea, has increased a lot during the last 15, 20 years. Korea has an important presence in the Costa Rican market, so many Korean products go to our country by sea. Country has 7 provinces, which are located there, and I will not give you more information about that. San Jose, the capital city, is located on what we call the Central Valley, which is high. There we have very good temperatures, by the way. People used to think about Latin America in terms of a very warm weather or very hot weather. In San Jose, usually temperature ranges from 22 to 29 centigrade degrees, Celsius degrees, all year round. And we have mainly 2 seasons. We call them winter and summer, but it's actually rainy season and dry season. And the rainy season, by the way, is quite long, 7.5 months, even 8 months. So it rains a lot. And that contributes to the fact that Costa Rica is a very green country. Our immediate neighbors to the north are Nicaragua, and to the south, Panama. With them, we share geography, history, language, culture, and hopefully a bright future for our peoples. That's what we would like to achieve together with our immediate neighbors. Nicaragua to the north, as I said before, and Panama to the southeast. Our capital city is San Jose, located on the Central Valley, as I said before. Country has only about 4.6 million, 4,600,000 inhabitants. That's our population. That's about 1/11 of the Korean population. So it's and our national territory cover is of 51,100 square kilometers, little bit over half the size of Korea, but much less populated, as I said before, because it's almost 51 million people now in Korea, and it's only 4.6 million people. Our per capita income is a lot, of course, a lot smaller than Korea's, a lot smaller, is $55 billion, and our gross domestic product, GDP, and our per capita income is around $12,000. So it's quite low compared to Korea's per capita income and GDP, of course, but our GDP is one of the highest in Latin America. I think it's about the third or fourth GDP. That's about Costa Rica. I'm going to briefly talk about the history. We gained independence from Spain together with Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, and Nicaragua. So as a whole, 5 Central American countries gained independence from Spain in September 15, 1821. So we just celebrated 193 years of independent life. This independence we achieved through negotiations. Fortunately, we didn't have to fight a war against Spain, the colonial power, but throughout years of very sometimes harsh negotiations, but difficult negotiations all the time, long time negotiations, we achieved independence from Spain. And the country right away decided that national independence was only the starting point, that we really had not achieved nothing but independence from Spain, but we knew it was a starting point to a never-ending struggle to build freedom, social justice, human rights for the benefit of the Costa Rican people. And the country has been, in that respect, a very persistent country. The people of Costa Rica really love their freedom, their democracy. They're very proud of them. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a short while. But we have, since the very beginning, the country was lucky enough to have national leaders who understood the importance of people's participation in everything. At the very beginning, the authorities in Cartago, which at the time was the national capital, the capital of the country, they called representatives from all the towns of the country to decide about the future. And that's what you would call pali-pali. In December, the 1st of December, that same year, we had our first constitution, national constitution, which could be called Pact of Harmony in English, or it was also called Social Fundamental Pact of Costa Rica. And that's December 1821, when the country was very, very, very new. The country was, not only the country, other Central American countries as well, was to be subjected to a very difficult, dangerous situation only 35 years after its independence. And we were forced to fight a very bloody war, which we consider our real independence war, because we confirmed our independence our love to and adherence to democracy and to freedom, because a filibuster, you know what a filibuster is, an adventurer from the United States, from the south of the United States, tried to establish English-speaking colonies in Central America. He invaded several Central American countries. He took power in Nicaragua, where he was declared president. That's 1856. And after a few months, he invaded the northern province of Costa Rica, from which, fortunately, he was rejected by a local army made mainly of volunteers. And he was chased out into Nicaragua. And on April 11th, 1856, Costa Rica inflicted a terrible defeat to this foreign army in a city called Rivas in Nicaragua. And the country paid a very high toll in this war because of the war itself and an epidemic of cholera. We lost 10,000 people in our national army, and that in Costa Rica was around less than 300,000 people then, so it was a very heavy toll. We paid for our freedom and independence. This monument in San Jose commemorates that war against the foreign invader to Central America, and that gives the idea of Central American countries chasing out the invader. I'll say it was mentioned before that Costa Rican achievements are praised by history and international indexes of different kinds. We are, as I said, fond, proud of our democracy, and we like to say that Costa Rica is the oldest democracy in Latin America. Actually, November 7th, 2014, we are celebrating 125 years of democracy. So I'll tell you that talking about public safety, Costa Rica is the third, according to international indexes, third safest country in the region, only after Chile and Uruguay. Costa Rica is a very safe country. We have crime, of course, and everything, but in very low numbers by comparison to most countries in the region and many other countries in the world. We are known for our permanent respect to human rights. That's been recognized many times. Costa Rica is always a member of, or almost always a member of the UN Human Rights Committee. We take part in every effort, international effort, toward the strengthening of human rights systems, and that's something which also makes us very proud. We are the first country ever in the world to abolish the army. The army was abolished in Costa Rica in 1948 by a decision of the president, and such decision was ratified the following year when our new constitution was written, and the constitution established that we don't have an army, we'll never have an army, because we want to believe in international law and international organizations, and we are convinced that differences between countries can be solved through negotiations, through peaceful negotiations. So we don't have an army, and that enabled us to dedicate resources which would have been used for military purposes. Those resources we preferred and decided to deviate toward education and health. So we are very proud of that fact also. And we've lived now for 66 years this year without an army. Maybe our love for freedom and democracy has something to do, that's my personal idea, with the fact that our first president, our first head of state, was not a general, as happened in many other countries, or one could say too many other countries. Our first head of state was a school teacher. So I do believe that that made a difference. And so when we talk about democracy, we're proud of our army. We call it the young students. This is just for you to see. There's National University in a town next to San Jose called Heredia, which has, I think, around 20,000 students, and Universidad de Costa Rica, Costa Rica University, which is the oldest university in the country and has around 30,000 students. I think there's a little bit over 100,000 university college students in Costa Rica. There's 5 public universities and about 50 private universities. But I'll tell you that out of the 5 public universities, 4 have established and are developing. One of them, Korean language studies, the Universidad Nacional. The other 3, Korean culture and language studies. So this is to say that in Costa Rica, the college level, there's interest in Korea. We also have almost 30 students benefiting from scholarships in Korea right now.